Welcome YouTube, welcome TikTok. We are going to have a conversation today about FAFSA. FAFSA. Do I even know what FAFSA stands for? I'm going to put that in. Should have known. Free application for federal student aid. FAFSA. 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 This is a #1 question that all students that are going into college university are asking. Can FAFSA help me to pay for college? Oh, if you all have any insight on this, please share, because I am going to be doing a video talking about the FAFSA. Okay. Now, what is the most stressful thing that I deal with when it comes to student loans? Why is it that if you have a student loan that you can't get approved for some other loans or lines that you've tried to get approved for? What is it that is the catch? What's the catch with the student loans? That's what we're going to be talking about. A lot of you guys out there are really trying to go to school because you think that's the right thing to do, and more power to you if that's what you're doing. But the fact is that if you don't have help, let's just say that your mom's a millionaire and she's going to pay for your college and you don't have this problem. I'm happy for you, but we have so many people that are in student loan debt that it is not even funny. Oh my goodness. If you all knew what I looked at every day, with how people are struggling with their student loan debt, you would be so surprised. And I want to tell you a little secret that you probably weren't aware of with the student loan debt. I know that I wasn't aware of this, and it's important that you understand everything that is on your credit report, and that includes the student loans. Okay. If I have someone that has a student loan and it's deferred, put your hand in the chat if you have a student loan that is deferred. Oh my gosh, Biden was forgiving it. Okay, we're not even going to go there. I'm not sure if that was sarcasm or not, but I'm not going to fly with you on that. The thing is, if you have student loan debt, it's affecting you more than you think it is, if it's deferred or not. Okay. I would say out of the people that I work with in a day, I have at least half will have a student loan debt. Now, every time nearly they'll say, well, that's deferred, so I'm not counting that in my cash flow right now. And I'm like, okay, I'll go with you. If it's deferred, I'm happy for you. But there's some things that I don't think people are aware of with the student loan debt. And no, most of the time it is not forgiven, nor is there any chance that it will be forgiven. So we have to deal with that. Do you know how many people, and you're probably not going to believe this because maybe you don't look at people's finances every day, but do you know how many people have student loan debt and it's been sitting for 10 years? That's a long time, right? So the first thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to do a small list here. Student loans. This is a big deal for a lot of people. One, it can be deferred, and we're going to talk about what that means. Two, how does it affect any other credit that you want to get? So we're going to say, spell right. Your credit. 3, how does the interest work? Okay. This is a huge subject, so this is going to take a minute because I want to, elementary style, talk to you like you're 5, because a lot of people do not understand what is happening with their student loan right now. You see it, you realize, oh my gosh, I have $50,000 in student loan debt, or I have $150,000 in student loan debt, and it's like this cloud over you, and it's weighing you down, right? Because you're not dealing with it, but it's hanging over your head, just like a cloud, just like a dark cloud of like, oh, this is there. I'm going to have to deal with it one day, but one day's not there yet, so I'm just going to wait, right? So you say it's deferred. That means that you have no payments currently. Okay? So if you tell me, yeah, it's deferred, I'm not making payments on that right now. Yeah, you like take a deep breath and like, oh, thank goodness I don't have to make payments on that right now. But let's talk about deferred. When a student loan is deferred, does that mean that the government is saying, oh, it's okay, don't make your payments, we realize you're having a hard time, you just stay over there and do whatever you're doing, don't worry about that student loan debt, it's deferred? Is that what they're doing? No. Why? What are they doing? Well, they're charging you interest. All right, I know. I didn't know this for a long time either, but they're charging you interest. Now, some of you guys may have that 10-year thing, right? You pay your student loans for 10 years and then they're going to forgive the rest of it. Why wouldn't they? You paid nothing but interest for 10 years. You paid way over what you ever borrowed from them. So why wouldn't they forgive that after 10 years? Okay? So do you know how many doctors and lawyers that I work with that have $2 and $3 and $4 and $500,000 in student loan debt 20 years after they graduated? Yeah, it's not just you. It's not you with just a $10,000 loan. These are the elite in our society that are covered up with student loan debt. So it's not just the little poor fellow over here that wants to go to school. It's the ones that are going for the big degrees as well. They are, when I tell you guys, my average income right now that I work with is about $10,000-$12,000 per month. And when I tell you that they are as paycheck to paycheck as you may be making $3,000 a month, please know I'm being very, very serious. Okay, so this FAFSA right here, I don't have the exact numbers, but let's say they approve you for $5,000 a semester. That may be what they do. Good for you if they do. But they take this based off of your parents' income. Now, if the student is responsible to pay for their college, why don't they consider the student's income? They're over 18. Most people that go into a university, they're over 18. So why don't they consider the student's income and let everybody enjoy the maximum amounts that the Pell Grant can offer? Well, if they're basing it off of your parents' income, you're not going to be getting no maximum, especially if your parents make a decent living. Come on. So some of you guys get this, and I'm glad. But it's still based off of your parents' income. I think that if you are married, it doesn't. Or if you're over 26 or something, it doesn't. But most of the time, this is going to be based off your parents' income. Now, we went to a whole nother level because remember, we're talking about deferred student loans. And I'm just sharing with you what I see every day, okay? I have parents come to me and they'll say, well, you know, my daughter's in college and she's a sophomore this year, and so I have to figure out how I'm going to cover her college fees, all of the tuition, books, everything. I'll tell you what I told my children when they were in high school and they started talking about the university. I said, oh, you can go to college, you can go to the university, but I'm not paying for it, and you're not getting a student loan. Now, is that a little tough? Is that a little tough? Well, I will tell you, my children are in their 30s and close to 30, and they don't have any student loan debt, and they never did, and they both went to college. They both got a degree that neither one of them is using today. So when your kids are coming to you and they're like, yeah, I think when I graduate, I want to go to the university, then say, we'll figure it out because you're not getting a loan and I'm not paying for it. And it's amazing when you mind shift a child like that, that they get serious. If they want to go to college, mine got serious. They found scholarships galore and they went to college, paid for. No student loan debt. You can do it. So it depends on how much you want it. If a kid thinks, oh, mom and dad's going to take care of this, you know, they'll get in there. They may not even, you know, make good grades. They might not even show up. They might flunk here and there. You have to give kids a foundation that says, hey, this is the rule. And my rule was I'm not paying for it. Okay, so I'm very happy I did that. I have one now that's a sophomore in high school. Same thing with her. She was talking about, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get a nursing degree. Good, go do it. But figure out now how you're going to pay for it because I'm not paying for it and you're not getting a loan. Okay, so let's go back to the deferred. Why do I not like the deferred student loan? Two reasons. One is when it's deferred, 99% of the time, it's still drawing interest. Okay? So if you have a $10,000 balance on your student loan right now, and you're not paying anything on it, is that happy day? Oh, happy day. I'm not paying anything. Yeah, you may be saying that right now, but this, and let's say it's an 8% interest. Okay, let's say that they're doing the 8%, and let's just say it's a simple interest. So we're going to take 10,000 times 8% and divide that by 12 to see what we get on a monthly rate here. And we're talking about $67 in interest. All right, so 10,000, $67 is now your balance because they added the interest for that month. What happens in month 2? Oh, wait a minute. I didn't make any payments because they said I didn't have to. Oh, glory. Well, what happened here? Your balance just went up, right? So let's take $10,067 times 8% divided by 12. That's $67.11. So I didn't put the change in here, but let's just act like it's another $67. Do you see what's happening? The balance is growing. Wait, we're going to do it again. So let's do 10,067 times 8%. No, wait. Sorry, 10,134 times 8% divided by 12, 67.56. So if we add the change, 67.56, we are at $10,201.56. What happens in month 4? So 10,201.56 times 8% divided by 12, $68.01. So here we go. Here we go again. 57. Okay. So do you see what's happening here? You used $10,000 of their money. They are adding interest every single month, even though you're not paying. So when you pay or when you don't pay, this balance only increases. So you guys that are sitting deferred, don't be surprised if you don't pull up the balance on this student loan and find out that it's $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 more dollars than you ever started with here. Okay? So you need to understand that the student loan is not a joke. It's worse than the mortgage. And if you've heard me talk about the mortgage, you know that is a financial life-sucking tool. The student loan is doing the same thing to you. So but I'm showing this at simple interest, compounding every single month. Okay? Now, for some of you guys, I'm going to start another section here because some of you are paying a payment, but it might be like $50. I saw one today is $40. So if it's $50 that you're paying, do you see that interest? Yeah. So your payment is not over what they're charging in interest. So you may still see your balance going up, even if you're making your monthly payment that they set for you to make. Okay? So how does the deferred or the student loan in general, how does it affect your credit? Okay, so if you look at your credit report and you see the student loans, and I love, don't you just love the way they do this? What do? Do they give you one loan and they're like, oh, okay, you've spent $10,000 and we're going to give you, no, they do it by semester, right? So you'll get a $2,000 loan, then you'll have one for $3,000, and then you'll have one for, $1,700. So they give you those little baby ones, right? And they all have different interest rates, and they're usually all over 8%, which is what I figured here. So when you hear that, Why would that don't make sense? Why don't they just give me one? Why don't they give me one? I don't understand. Like, what's the deal? Well, there is a scheme behind everything. Like I told you last night in the live that I did. When you have loans and lines, you're dealing in a chess game. You have pieces that they move, right? And so if you know how to play the game, then you're almost always going to make the right move. But these people are geniuses that run the banks and stuff. And God bless them for being so smart. They've come up with some great ideas on how do we make more money. I just don't want them to make the money off of your back or mine. So it's a constant learning of how do the banks work? How do these loans work? What can we do to overcome what they're doing? What can we do to move those chess pieces in a way that's going to benefit us instead of them? Right? It's not that we want the banks to go broke. I'm not asking that. I love living in this capitalist nation. I think it's awesome. I think it's great that you can make as much money as you want to make. But I also don't want to throw away money that I don't have to throw away. So if I can learn how these loans work and what I can do to defeat the giant, then I'm going to win and you guys are going to win because you're wanting to learn too. Okay? Now, when you're dealing with deferred and you go to a bank, and let's say you want to get a home loan, which is what I deal with a lot. People are wanting to, either one, get out of the large mortgage that they're in by moving into a line of credit, or maybe you want to buy a home, but they keep telling you you can't buy a home. And you're like, well, but why? And so if you have a student loan, the reason is because even if this is deferred, even if you're not making payments, they're going to calculate it like you are. So it may be a 1 or 2% that they calculate as your monthly student loan payment. Okay, so let's do the numbers. If you have a $10,000 student loan, which I've never seen one that low, but let's say you do, that means you're going to pay $100 per month on the $10,000. Whether or not you're paying it, the bank is going to show that. Okay? So $100, you might beat the interest here by $67, right? Because you're paying 100, they're taking out 67, so you're going to beat that just a little bit. You're not going to see a rising balance here. But if you're not paying, and let's say that you have which let's go to a real student loan that I usually see. We're going to put it at about 35,000 because that seems to be the low that I see on a student loan balance. Okay. And so if a bank, when you go to the bank to get a mortgage, a HELOC, whatever, they usually want to see your debt to ratio at about 42%. Okay. What does that mean? Well, it's 42% of the gross, from what I understand. And so if you make $5,000 per month income, let's take 5,000 times 42%. That means that your debt payments and all of that cannot exceed $2,100 per month. Okay? Now, $2,100 per month. A lot of people have $2,100 per month that they're paying in expenses every month, right? So if your debt to income is 2,100 and you already have, let's say this is your max, so 42%, and then you already have probably a car payment, whatever your new house payment's going to be once this clears. Let's say that it's at, I don't know, 1,900. And so you're like, whoo, I'm good. I'm good. I got this. I got this because I'm under the 2,100. But they find out, or they see on your credit bureau report there has reported that you have a $35,000 student loan that is deferred, so no payments are due monthly right now. What does that do to this? Well, if you're working with a bank that charges 1%, so 35,000 times 1%, that's $350 that they're going to add to show what you should be paying, and you will be paying on this student loan when the government decides to start making you pay. So what did that do here? Let's see. Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness. You just went over. So do not be fooled about that student loan that is sitting there that you think, well, it's deferred. I don't have to think about that right now, because a lot of stuff is happening here. One, just like I showed you previously, you're having interest applied every single month and it's growing if you're deferred. Two, if you try to go to the bank and you try to get any kind of line of credit or whatever, then you may be going over your DTI by the time they calculate your numbers. Now, I was super shocked with that because I literally couldn't even imagine that they would do that. So somebody said it works if you get an FHA loan, they use 0.5% of the balance. Okay, so 350 or 35,000 times 0.5%. That's 175. So 175. Yeah. You are just under it. I mean, that's just under it. So I don't do FHA because why? Because that's a mortgage. And we're talking about how to get out of these entities that are just sucking your finances dry with interest charges. Okay. So let's talk about, and we talked about how the interest works already. It's growing. It does affect your credit because if you try to get anything, they're going to calculate this. They're going to see if it knocks your DTI out. I have a lady, she had a $300,000 student loan. It was deferred. It was $300,000 because it had been deferred for a long time and it was just building interest, building. When she went to get a line of credit, it kept knocking, they kept rejecting her, they kept declining her, and I'm like, I don't understand. You have plenty of room here. I don't get it. But when the bank literally told me we have to calculate that, so 300,000 times even the 0.5% times 0.5%, that's $1,500 a month that the bank is taking of her cash flow as if she was making the student loan payment. So student loans, you know, kids, wow, they are just jumping right in to that. It's like watching people take a run and go and jump off the diving board right into the pool, having a good time. But wow, you have to know what your kids are jumping into, because you have to direct them. You have to say, hey, let's find another way, because you know what? If you really, really want this, where there's a will, there's a way. We're going to figure this out. Okay? So, and you guys that are signing on that parent loan, what is that called? The parent something. I can't, it's some little fabulous name they gave those student loans, but it's literally where the parent co-signs for that. Do you know how many parents I work with? The Parent Plus, that's it. Do you know how many parents that I work with that their kid quit college, now doing their own thing, and the parent is stuck with that on their credit? And so we're figuring out how we're going to get rid of that. Do you know how dirty that is, first off, that a kid would do their parent that way? But do you know that the parent now is responsible for that? Because the kid hasn't learned yet that, oh, well, you know, big deal, mom and dad, they'll take care of it. But the parent who is running a household and trying to figure all this out, that really messes with your finances, parents. So please think about that before you go off and sign on one of those, Parent Plus even. We all want to do good things for our kids. I do great things for my kids. I'm always like doing something extra for them. They need something, I'm here. But not with those student loans. Not with those student loans. I'm just saying, be careful with that. Why do they, let's, common sense here, guys. Wipe out all politics, wipe out everything. Why do they want a child that's 18 years old to, we can't get into, I don't know, like, let's see, you can't buy a gun. You can't, what all can't, you can't drink a beer under 21, but yet they will load a kid up with this student loan debt. So let's think about it. Why would this be allowed? Let's see. Why would we give a kid a credit card and a student loan when they are 18 years old? Well, duh. You got to go to work. What happens when we go to work? Well, duh. We're paying taxes. Exactly. Oh my gosh, some of you guys are so smart. I'm so proud of you. You've really thought this out. Yes, go to a community college. Yes. These crazy kids, oh my goodness. Oh, and the parents, oh wow. It's like, well, my daughter's going to UCLA, and I'm like, okay, so you got you some UCLA debt out there. And it's like, does it really matter where you go to school to get that degree? Maybe if you went to Harvard, you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to pick me up a good job because, you know, that's where all of the elite are, and, you know, we'll work in with somebody there. But I mean, I'm going to use an example right here in my area, the University of Tennessee. Great university, I guess. But guess what? The same degrees that come out of there for a whole lot more expense comes out of the community college and the university down the road at a third of the price, right? So this, oh, I'm going to go to this big college, my second daughter, bless her heart, she's so precious, but she decided she wanted to go to school in New York City. I'm like, okay, who's going to pay for it? Because I'm not paying for it and you're not getting a student loan. So do you know what she ended up doing? She went through the community college. She got that free. She went and got scholarships galore because that gave her, she had her 2-year degree, right? She wants to go on to get a 4-year. So she goes to the 4-year university with the scholarships already set up. And they didn't just pay for the 4-year degree, but they paid her to go to school because she had so many different scholarships available to her. So she ended up making about $7,000 a year to go to school. Yes. So, like I said, where there's a will, there's a way. And when it comes to this college debt, if you don't know any different, I mean, I'm not fussing at people because, well, I just didn't know, because we are ignorant to how all of this is set up. But now you know that maybe I need to be, really looking deeper into this university thing my daughter wants to do, or my son wants to do. And let's talk about what a serious deal this is with taking on this debt. Because they absolutely, the government wants to throw a student loan on you. Wants to throw a student loan on you because they're making a killing. I showed you the rundown on what they're doing with $10,000. If you're into $50,000 or $100,000, God bless you. Because you're going to get stuck if you don't get unstuck really fast. Somebody asked, how do we do it then? How do we pay for the college? What do we do? Well, if you're a kid, you're going to have to figure out some scholarship stuff. You're going to have to look at other grants. You're going to have to get serious about applying for these grants and these scholarships. If you're a parent and you're already in the mess with the student loans where you are helping your kid, that is where we use lines of credit, but better we use the Money Max. Because the Money Max can come in and really help you to eliminate that interest off of that debt and start getting it paid off. Okay? So you have options. Don't feel like that you're drowning in the debt and there's no way out. If you've watched any of my lives, you know that I am super excited about your finances when you come to me, because we almost always can have you out of debt in no time. The Money Max is an algorithm. From the way I see it, the Money Max can tell you where to apply your payments within the month so that you are avoiding the interest that's getting ready to get charged in that month. So when it does that, it's eliminating the interest. So, I've talked about the mortgage. If you have a 4% interest rate on a mortgage, you can take that times 2 at a 0, and you're really paying about 80% interest on your mortgage. Common sense, guys. Look at your contract, okay? It shows you how much interest they're actually charging you on that thing. So that's not Christy VANN saying that. That is real numbers, okay? So if you have a mortgage that's charging you 70, 80, 90, 160% interest, I have seen lately, then the Money Max can back that down. So where you're paying, some of my clients are getting by with about 2% in interest. So if you're taking, 70-80% interest down to 2%, you can see how now all of your income is going to pay down your principal balances because you're not getting stuck throwing all that money into interest. Okay, so the Money Max is super, super cool. And we have free webinars where you can get more information about that as well. That's under the videos on the YouTube channel. Okay, so feel free to join us there on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time so you can get more information about that. All of that is free to learn. The idea is to get everyone educated so that you're learning what options are available to you. Okay? Because if you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know that the Money Max is there, you don't know. If you don't know how to use a line of credit and you didn't even know there was such a thing, that's what you're going to learn on the channel. Is the idea is to throw these options out there, and then they are free consultations so that you can get the information you need and how it's going to work for you without paying a dime. Is that worth your time? If it's worth your time, then sit through an hour and listen. These teams are set up for you for a reason, to serve you, to get you educated on what's available. If you don't know, you don't know. I didn't know any of this. Oh my goodness. You may think that you don't know anything. I had absolutely no idea that these tools were at the bank, that the infinite banking was a real thing. I had no idea Money Max existed. I would have been out of debt, I don't know, a decade before I was, had I known this stuff. So I am literally jumping you guys light years ahead, throwing this information all into one channel so that you can review the titles of those videos and see what it is that you need in your own situation. You can go to the playlist, and I have some videos under each playlist that gives you an idea of the student loans, of the car loans, of the do you have a line of credit? Do you have a mortgage? Do I have a personal loan? Trying to hit everything in there, okay? Let's read some questions here. Let's see. In my area, people have 3 degrees and can't find a job. I'm in Los Angeles. I completely understand and believe you. I do know that my girls, both of them, like I said, they both went through the university. They both have bachelors, and neither one of them are working in the line of work they got the bachelor's degree in. They are not the only two. I can't think of one person besides a school teacher that went through the university and is actually using the degree. It's crazy. Should you allow your kids to go to college? Like I said, mine went for free, all because they studied how to do it. My oldest daughter, she was working, and she would pay anything that was left over out of the money she was making working. She, let's see, what else? She would work some, make some. I may have paid for books for her at one time, but not much. She's very independent, so I don't even know that I helped with books. The other one went completely free. Like I said, she got paid to go, so everything was covered for her. So I don't believe in telling kids they can't do anything, but if they're going to do it, then they need to figure it out. That's not our responsibility. Nobody asked me, hey, do you want to go to university? I'll pay for your college. My mom and dad certainly did not. And I think that that made me stronger. It made me want to figure out what I really wanted to do with my life instead of just going to college. How many kids have I heard say, Well, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I really want to do when I grow up, but I'm going to go to college and I'm going to get the generals out of the way and then maybe I'll know what I'm going to do by then. Crickets? I mean, does that even make any sense? Oh my gosh, the 529 plan? That's a complete joke because what happens when they don't even go do that? I mean, why not put it in an infinite banking policy where it's growing at compound interest and paying dividends and let your money grow? And then if they don't use it for college, then guess what? You can pull it out and buy them a car with it. Yeah, getting my nursing degree, I think it's worth it. It's my stepping stone to support my family while I buy and build a business. Beautiful. See, you have a plan. You have a plan. Jesus, you're always so good. Boom. I say go to college only if they're looking in healthcare, law, and finance, or any career that requires a 2-year certificate. I never went, I went to college. I did do a couple of semesters. It was not for me. I was so happy to graduate from high school that I was like, thank you, Lord, that I am out of school. So when I went from graduating in June into college in July, it really started. I was going to hit it hard, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to college for. I didn't want to go to college, one, to sit in another classroom, but two, I didn't want to go because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I did not want to be a school teacher. That's what everybody in my area was doing. Oh, you got to be a teacher. And I'm like, I don't want to sit with kids all day. I don't want to try to discipline another person's kids. Not into that stress. God bless you, teachers out there that deal with children every day. Not doing it. Not doing it. Yeah. So, um, yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Yes. Yes, whole life is better than the 529. I do agree with that. Yes. Anyway, where are we? Oh my goodness. I kind of went off there because when I think about sitting in a classroom with students all day, I could literally just say, okay, put me in, oh, no, I couldn't do it. No, no. And I do have family members that are teachers and they love it. So that's what I said. Bless you if you are working with children every day. That is an amazing job, I'm sure. Okay, so where were we? I'm sorry, I get really passionate about some things, and that is one that, I thought, I literally remembered thinking, I am not going to work with children every day. I can't do that. And I'm so glad I didn't. I'm glad I quit. What I ended up doing was I got certificates. It didn't cost me any money hardly to get certificates. First, I started out working as a secretary, making nothing. Okay, I worked at Lowe's for a little while when I was young, worked at Patty's for a little while I was young, but I was like, this is not what I want to do. I don't like working in an office. I don't like customer service. I don't like, I did everything from filing to working for a doctor to oh gosh, we don't even talk about fast food. I can't deal with people like that. I just have a real low tolerance for things. So I am who I am. You are who you are. So I'm sure there's some situations that you can't handle, nor do you want to, and that's okay. But I ended up doing things that I thought, hey, okay, I might be able to do that. So I did open a daycare for a while. I opened it, it was very successful. I could not babysit all day, so I hired people to do that. And I'm talking, I am living poverty level and I'm doing this stuff. Okay? So I don't care what stage of life you're in, think outside of the box. Think of things like, did you think that I was thinking about being a certified welding inspector? No, I had never even heard there was a certified welding inspector. But when I learned about it, I'm like, hey, well, you know what? By this point, I was in the union and I was working in that and I was with the welding and all that. And I was like, hey, I think that sounds like a good idea. That That seems like a good idea. Okay, so I studied for that. Cost me about, by the time the test fees and then to get my books, and probably less than $2,000 I had in that, and immediately started making a lot of money after I got that certificate. But I was still broke. See, I'm still like pre-velocity banking, learning how money works years. So I was still broke. The idea is it doesn't matter how much money you make if you don't have any idea how the banks work and anything about money management, you're not going to be able to handle your finances in the best way you possibly could. And it's not because you're stupid. It's not because you're an idiot. It's not because you are a spender. It's because you don't know how the banks work. So you don't understand that. And when you don't understand, everything feels like it's chaos. Because while I'm making my payments, I'm doing exactly what they tell me to do. Well, guess what? That's not good enough. Because everything is set up against you. So you have to learn how to move those chess pieces. And it is so easy. I had a lady tell me earlier today, she said, when I first heard your videos, I thought, what is she talking about? And she said, I've been watching them, and she said, the light bulb went on, and this is so simple. And she said she was going to be out of debt in about 3 years, house and all. So I know you can do this. I want you to get really educated. Just watch some videos. It's super simple. It just takes you opening your mind to there being another way. Okay? We're all going to get out of debt, and this next 10 years in American history is going to change up because people learned how to use the bank and we learned how to get free, and there is nothing like it. There's nothing like it when you're financially free and you can make decisions on true investing, on true things you want to buy. The next home, the vacation home that I never thought was possible for me. The nice car that you wanted that you never thought was possible. Only because you didn't know how to use the bank. And that's what we're going to teach you. So you guys hang on here. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. And it's all free. It's all free. And I preface that by saying that I do have the masterclass coming up, the 5 weeks. And that's $125 for 5 weeks. I do this stuff super cheap to get you informed. Because the more people that I help to get the things that they want, I know the more things I'm going to get what I want. That's just a spiritual law. And we're going to do another video on that too. All right, so you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm going to sign off. I will probably try to jump back on later tonight around 8-9 p.m. Just because I do want to talk about a couple of more things that I don't have time for right now. But I hope you're learning. I hope you're growing. And if you're watching, I know you are, because when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive, and you're here now. Okay?